This is the PIXINSIGHT process tutorial for the Assign ICC Profile process. You find this process in Process and then Color Management Assign ICC Profile. First of all, I have to admit that I'm not a professional from a graphics point of view. So I try to explain that to you as good as I can, but if I make any mistake, happy if you put that in the comments below, so we can all learn from each other. So let's start with what is ICC. ICC is the International Color Consortium. So these are the ones who actually standardize the profile formats for color spaces. So the next question will be, what is a color space? And so let me show that to you. What you see actually here in the black area and the dark area is the human vision, all the color, all the spectra that the human eye can actually capture. And what you see in this triangle is a color space called sRGB. So this is the standard color space we're all working in, because this is about what any screen can actually display. So it's a very safe zone. If we define a color within this color space, wherever we push it, it can be represented in the right way. And also in PIXINSIGHT, this is the standard color space that we're using. So if you don't do anything, then this color space, sRGB, will be actually assigned to your picture. And that's actually mostly good, because whatever you do afterwards with your picture, if you send it to the printer, if you publish it on the web, it will be understood and actually represented in the right way. So what is then the issue? So let's say you have a great monitor with HDR and extended color space and whatever. So the colors, the color spectrum that your monitor can actually display is this frame here. But sRGB is only the colored part. What means that actually your monitor could display a much wider color space than sRGB. And so if you would, in the color space of your monitor, it would look on your monitor much better. The same could also be for your TV screen or your projector. If you want actually afterwards to project your pictures or display it on a TV, it could make sense that you actually edit the picture exactly for the color space of this TV screen, this projector, or this computer screen. So that's one example. Another example would be that you want to use on purpose a different profile, which are also widely known, for example, the Adobe RGB or the DCI P3, which is actually the one which is used by the iPhone. And as you can see, all these other ones, they have a much wider gamut than the sRGB. So again, but as cool as this sounds, this has also a lot of issues. Because first of all, your screen has actually to have at least the gamut of one of these color spaces that you can even edit it realistically. And then wherever you actually send it to, it also has to understand this color space and also be able to depict it. And if not, you have to convert it back to a color space which is maximum the size of what the other media can understand. For example, the web uses sRGB. And then the issue comes that if you edited it now, the whole thing, for example, in Pro Photo, but afterwards you have to reconvert it to sRGB, there might be wrong colors, harsh contrast, and so on. So it might not look good at all anymore. So that could also mean that if you want to use dedicated color spaces, you might actually have to edit the picture multiple times, stretch it multiple times per color space to ensure you get per color space the right amount. So you see, as tempting in the first place as it sounds to change a color space, it has a lot of implications. So only if you have a very good reason and you know what you're doing, you should do that. But going now back to our process we're here to talk about, Assign ICC Profile, this would actually be happening very early in the process, still in the unstretched phase, because if we want at the end to change the profile, then we would actually use another process which is about the transferring. So I just took this stretch picture here that you can actually see what is really happening when we change now the color space. So if you want to actually change the color space, then on top here we choose the picture and it already shows here, you see sRGB. So the standard color space was assigned. Now we say assign profile and we choose here the profile we want. For example, I could choose now the one of my screen. And as I go, and you see the whole picture got a little bit brighter as it changed the color space. I undo that now. Let's take another one, the display P3, which is used for the iPhone, for example. So what you can see here, if we take now the display P3, is I have the gamut control on. So all these gray areas, these are areas that my screen cannot even display. So because the iPhone, fortunately or unfortunately, has a better screen than my screen here on the desk. So I could actually not realistically work with a P3 here on my desktop screen because I wouldn't know how it would look like on the iPhone. But just also to show you that. So this is already everything that this little box does. And so the functionality of this little box is not the issue. The issue is really having a sound understanding of color spaces and how you apply them. And fortunately or unfortunately, we will bump into some other color space processes if you follow me on my journey through all the processes here in PIXINSIGHT. So we will revisit that. So I hope I did not confuse you too much. Again, if I said something which was incorrect, if you have some professionals here watching, please don't hesitate to correct me and put it in the comments below. I would appreciate that because it's really a complex topic. So see you next time and clear skies.